We are engaged in a constant, unseen grind, which results in striking contributions that change the landscape. Balcones gets its name from the Balcones Fault Line, which separates the rugged Texas foothills from the expansive plains. This line, the contrast and interplay between these two landscapes, serves as a constant inspiration for our dynamic spirits. At Balcones, we are creating striking experiences that illustrate there's another way. We have an insatiable drive for exploration and discovery. We are constantly innovating and exploring new ways to create uncommon, dynamic flavors for our whiskeys. We see a world full of well-educated, highly involved, and truly empowered whiskey drinkers craving to see what's next. With that in mind, we're proud to present our Texas Single Malt Whiskey. We've created an American single malt, a timeless style of malt whiskey that breathes new life into centuries of distilling tradition with classic techniques and ingredients adapted for new world tastes. So one of the things that's kind of unique about our Texas One single malt in the global single malt kind of category and also within American single malt is we were intentionally trying to marry the traditions a little bit. So we're using very traditional Scottish yeast, obviously the Scottish barley Golden Promise that we've been using from the beginning. We've got Scottish stills. We have the mash tun that was retired from Speyburn. So up until distillation, this is all very traditional approach to single malt production in Scotland. But then we intentionally throw it mostly into virgin oak, which is very much the American maturation tradition from rye and bourbon, but not usually how single malt's treated. And we kind of wanted that to bridge that conversation and people that, oh, I drink bourbon, I don't drink single malt, or vice versa. This kind of has a wood profile, spice, tannin, all the things that you're used to from American whiskey styles, but then the backbone of it is this very, very traditional approach to single malt. One of the cool things about using the Golden Promise that we specifically use for the Texas One single malt is a variety that has kind of gotten left behind in favor of higher yielding, just more efficient barley varieties that basically the whole impetus is just to give you more alcohol per pound, not because they taste better. And so it's an older variety that was very popular in Scotch production in the 60s through the mid 80s. And it's super flavorful. It's very similar to Maris Otter, for anyone's familiar with Maris Otter from brewing, which is an English barley variety. This is Scottish. And also there's very little Scottish barley actually used in Scotch production, and most people think that that's probably the case, and it's very much not. Most of it's from other places. So it feels cool to connect with just the single malt history in that way. Opening aromas bear hints of toffee and overripe fruits. On the palate, layers of toasted malt and honey give way to mellow notes of baked pears and apples. A long finish is accompanied by cinnamon and clove. When we started making American single malt, it just made perfect sense. We mostly try to make things that we enjoy drinking. I think it's really hard to create something if it's not a kind of beverage or food or whatever it is that you're doing. If it's not something you actually like partake of and know really well, it's hard to be critical of it and know kind of where you're going with it. But I think it's a really vibrant, it's a very exciting, growing part of the spirits community that's just, nobody knew that this explosion with it was going to happen. And yeah, we were just doing the things that we loved, you know, and kind of following passion and excitement. Balcones Texas One Single Malt Whiskey is a truly unique American experience, born out of our passion for exploration and creativity, shaped and aged by the unique contrast of the Texas landscape, made for people demanding dynamic flavors and experiences.